Welcome to the Transform with Vance podcast, where transformations begin every day, and I am your host, Vance Hines. So let's get started. All right, this is Vance Hines, and I'm here with another super DDPY Success Story, Matt Schmitt.
Yep.
Matt, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, brother.
What so where you participating from?
I'm in Lexington, Kentucky.
Lexington, Kentucky. Well, how close is that to where they do the Kentucky Derby?
About an hour and 5 minutes.
You ever been to the Derby?
I haven't. We have a racetrack here in Lexington, so if we feel in the need, we go to that. But other than that, we don't go to the Downs.
What racetracks by you?
It's Keeneland.
Keeneland. I think I've bet on races at Keeneland at the in that simulcast or whatever they call it in that place in there.
Right.
You just pick a track and start betting. I might add probably unsuccessfully. So. All right, Matt. Well, what I do is I usually start out with just throwing a question out there, so that whoever, that one or two people that might listen to this thing, kind of have an idea of what your story is and why they should listen to the whole damn thing. So the question is, why are you considered a DDPY success story?
I signed up for the Positively Unstoppable Challenge last year in 2021. I weighed 465. I'd kind of always been heavy. I had mobility issues due to a car wreck. I had bulging disc in my 1, 2, and 3 vertebrae that connected to my pelvis. And then the weight on my knees and playing football pretty much made it to where I was almost unmobile. I couldn't do treadmills. I couldn't do the conventional way. I tried every fad diet out there. But so I decided in December of 2020 that I was going to weigh in, and it was going to be the first time I'd weighed in probably 3-4 years. And I got home that night, and it said over the limit on the scale, OL. And so it took me some time to figure out what the limit was for the scale, and it's 450 pounds. And I had never been that high in my life. I work for I'm an IT manager for a construction materials place here in Frankfurt, now called Nucor Steel. And they have shipping scales, and I went out and found that I was 465 pounds. And right then and there, that was my enough is enough moment, and I decided that I was going to do something about it. So I got online and started thinking and looking and researching what was low impact ways that I could lose weight. And I came across DDPY, and I was a big fan of DDP in the 90s. Being a fellow dyslexic and ADHD person, I followed him because that he's always been very pro support of that, being that himself. And so I did some research, and lo and behold, I came across your story. It was your transformation video that, matter of fact, I came across Arthur's video first, and I was like, the mobility part was really inspiring, but he wasn't my weight. He wasn't 406, almost 500 pounds. So the next one that spun up was yours, and then Justin's came up after yours, and I was set. So I talked to my wife. I ordered it the next day. And then January 17th, I started. And 465, I started in a chair. And I worked my way up to the beginner. Went through Stand Strong series, did a rebuild for about a month or so, and then went back to the chiropractor, and he saw major changes in my posture, the way my bulging discs were sitting. He was very encouraged. He said, "Whatever you're doing, keep doing it." So I just dedicated that. I wanted to lose 66 pounds in the 6 months. I thought that was, with my mobility and everything, I thought that was a good starting point. And 10 weeks later, I'd already crushed that. And so I was talking to Pat McDermott, which is in the DDPY Positively Unstoppable group. He is one of the leads. And I had never really set goals for myself. So I was like, what do I do next? He's like, well, set another one. And so I did 100. And 3 weeks later, I was at 100 pounds. So in the 6 months, I lost 125 pounds. And then I kept going through. I broke my slipped in the ice in February of last year. Broke my tailbone in 3 spots, and I still kept going with the DDPY that rehabbed it. And so I was down to 140 pounds by September of last year, and then I shattered the arch in my left foot. I was stepping out, taking Gabe to school one morning, and I hit the corner of a doormat, and I rolled my foot, and all my weight went onto my left foot. And so it started swelling up, and I didn't think anything of it. I just thought I had twisted my ankle. I've done that 100 times in my life, where you roll it real fast, and didn't think anything of it. And I have gout. So, I was going through some gout problems then, and so it kept swelling up. So I didn't think anything of it, because it wasn't uncommon for me to have a gout attack here and there. And I kept going back to the chair, kept going to staying strong, rebuilding everything up. And then September 4th, went into the doctor, and they put me in a boot. And so I was in a boot for 6 weeks, and then found out that it didn't heal correctly. So they had to reset it and put me in a cast. So January 6th of this year, I finally got out of the boot. And so I had put back on about 20 pounds due to that immobility, and just couldn't really move around. I had a cast all the way up to about an inch below my kneecap. So it made it kind of hard to get in a good sweat. And so I got back up to 345, and I kind of carried that through till this year's challenge. And so currently I am at 313 as of yesterday. So I've lost 152 pounds in about 15 months.
I'm making notes because I want to ask you about some of these things. When I look over here, I'm making notes, so don't think I'm ignoring you.
No
I had
problem.
I've just finished a journal, so I had to grab a new journal. So
No problem.
had to have bone and foot reset. Now 156 down.
152.
152 down, and you weighed 113.
313.
313. Yeah. I weighed 313 last Wednesday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, so me and you are at the exact identical weight. Well, probably not. The way I ate yesterday and today, I probably put some more on, so I'm probably ahead of you right now. But I'm down, let's see, 162. So you and I are almost identical, man.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. We're gonna have to have some kind of side wager on set some kind of goal and a side wager, something funny that doesn't cost much.
Right.
'Cause I ain't got no money. But,
Me either.
so yeah, something funny. think about it while doing this podcast, and
All
before the
right.
podcast is over, we'll come up with some kind of bet that we have to do.
All right.
Maybe.
No speedos.
Yeah, no speedo. You can thank Justin for that. But I've had a good time with it. Shit, hell. Right now I'm so big I don't have a speedo that'll fit me. I'm hoping to lose some more weight before I have to give away the trophies this year for Vance's challenge. What he's talking about, for those that don't know, is that I do a Vance's challenge every year, starting the first Wednesday in March. That I buy 2 trophies, and in fact, this year's trophies are right here, 2022. There's a men's and a woman's champion. The men's has a king on the top, and the woman's has about a 3.5 foot trophy. The woman's has a queen. But anyway, first man to lose 100 pounds, first woman to lose 50 pounds win the trophies. No rules, no requirements, free. And we've done it 3 years now. And the first year winner for the men was Justin Dobbins, the beast, the guy who's lost 400 pounds. And he did it. He beat everybody else in the challenge. But then he made the comment that he wanted me to present the trophy to him in a Speedo. And so I ended up making a video of presenting the trophies that first year in a Speedo. And then I did it again last year. And so now I've kind of set a precedent that I got to do a Speedo. I'm going to have to find an awful big Speedo right now. I can tell you that. But anyway.
I actually entered into it last year, and the guy beat me by 1 week.
Oh, man. That dude killed it last year.
Yeah, he did.
What was his name? I always have a hard time remembering his name.
I think it was Scott.
Scott Marchina.
Yes.
Marchina. Yeah, I hadn't heard from him, but he killed it last year.
Yeah,
the men's record, like at 120 days or something.
Yeah, I was literally about a week behind him. He got off to I say if I didn't have some of the setbacks that I did with gout or breaking my tailbone, I probably might have put really high pressure on him. But I was happy with it. It gave me something to kind of push myself. This year I don't have 100 pounds to lose. Otherwise I would have did it this year too. But
oh, it's just something fun, But hey, but last year there was some money. Oh, Lisa Brown, if you're in North Carolina and you need services of a realtor, downtown Lisa Brown. I'm not sure what city she's in, but I got to give her credit. She donated $1,000 last year. So the 2 winners, Scott and Candace Parent, each got $500 on top of my trophy. So that's pretty good. And then one lady donated some shirts. Shit, I can't remember her name either now. My memory sucks. But Rubling, Kaylin Rubling made some shirts and donated them. And so there was a little extra meat on a little extra incentive to win last year, but this year just trophies. So far, nobody's offered to donate anything yet. But man, that group. You're in that Vance's Challenge Facebook group, aren't you, man?
I am. Yes.
Yeah, I mean there's like 550 or 560 people in that group now, so it's growing. It's something fun to do, something different. Just try to get some incentive to lose weight,
Yep.
All right, man. Well, now one thing that you said that I'm really interested in. You said you suffer from gout.
Mm-hmm.
Did you suffer from gout before you started losing weight?
Yes, I have suffered from gout since I was about 25 years old. I'm almost 45 now, so probably the last 20 years. Probably it really got bad in like 2008, 2009. But I could manage it by not eating certain foods, but I fully went on medication in 2008.
You taking allopurinol?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's the preventative, and then cocaine or something like that. That's the when it flares. That's the acute
Correct.
medicine you've got to take. But see, I didn't have it until I started losing that weight, and I found out that that it. I don't know how common it is, but it is a byproduct or a side effect, or people who have drastic weight loss, like bariatric surgery,
Hmm.
start having gout. And I always wondered if once I stabilized, if the gout would go away.
Yeah, I had it. Oh, I would get one like once every gout flare once in 2 3 months for
Mm.
3 4 days. But when I went through that first 100 pounds, I was getting them like every 3 weeks. It was like miserable, like to the point where you can barely walk. I would get them in my big toe, in my arch. And so when I broke my arch, I didn't think anything of it because I had battled it so much in the
Them
first.
gout's painful,
Whew,
boy.
yeah, yeah, I don't.
You don't even want the sheet touching your toe. You don't even want the sheet on that sucker.
And driving, if you get it in your right foot, you better
Yeah.
you better have somebody driving because just trying to push the brake or the accelerator will kill you.
Mm. Well, I'd never had it before. I started having the flare ups, but it's funny. I wonder why weight loss causes the flare ups.
I think it's the byproduct of losing and burning all the fat. When you start burning that fat stores, from some of the research that I did, it has a contributing effect because it's like you're eating too much red meat. So from what I read, that's one of the causes of it is or byproducts of losing a lot of weight really quick.
All right, man. Well, let's get a little bit of your background just so we know who Matt Schmitt is. That's
Okay.
kind of what I do. But where did you grow up, and tell us about kind of your backstory,
Okay.
where's home, and that kind of stuff.
I grew up in Evansville, Indiana. I am the
You a
oldest
Hoosier?
of, yeah, yeah. I grew up in Evansville, and um, I
What's a
grew.
Hoosier?
I have no idea. I've never
don't,
asked.
don't. All right.
So I have one younger sister. We grew up there. I grew up playing basketball and football, and was always a skinny kid. Once I started growing, when I got to about 6 or 7, I grew like 5 inches in one summer, and then I always stayed pretty skinny until I got in high school. My freshman year, I broke my foot playing basketball, and I was 6 foot 99 pounds as a freshman in high school. And by my
Damn.
sophomore year, I was 6'2", 220. So I hit the weights,
Damn.
really got into football at that point, and so I played high
Six
school.
foot 99 pounds.
Yeah, I was
What size pants did you wear?
I was like 20 something. I couldn't tell you
That's
what.
crazy.
And then so when I graduated high school, I was 6'6", 265. So that was pretty much what I played at. Played a little college, played semi-pro football.
What semi football? So what position did you play?
I played defensive end and offensive tackle.
Damn. And so
Yeah.
where'd you play in college?
I played defensive end, and
I
then
mean,
I
which
was on.
college? What school?
Well, I played one year at Purdue, and then went to Vincennes University to
You
after I
played
got hurt.
you played 1 year at Purdue.
Hmm.
Shit, you made the Division 1.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
was that? Tell me what that was like.
It was a little over the top. I was definitely I was happy. I was it was always something that I wanted to do. And then I got hurt. I hurt my left knee. My kneecap went 90 degrees the wrong way, and that pretty much ended that. So tuition at a school like that isn't very friendly on the pocketbook. So I went to their sister school, junior college called Vincennes University, and I got my laser degree there in laser optics. And then I minored
So,
in computers.
so tell me what do you do with laser optics? Is that like burning the CDs and the DVDs? And
So my first job out of college was working for the Department of Defense, making holography domes for laser guided missiles.
what the hell is a holography dome?
So when you have the laser guided missiles that the military uses. So
Yeah.
I was on a team that developed the coating that goes on the dome of the or the point of the missile that attracts the computer to that frequency of a laser.
So the way I understand it, and I think we've got a friend of my son's that does this because he supposedly is in the front. He's in the army now in the front unit, and he tells the people where to bomb, where the artillery to hit, where to bomb. So I don't know if he's doing it with the lasers or doing it, calling in and telling them. But the lasers is they go tag the laser something. Somebody has to go up there and put the laser on the object,
Correct.
and then you develop the um, would it be software, hardware?
It's the coding that's on. So everybody knows what a hologram is. So a hologram
Yeah.
is like a three-dimensional. But there's a way that you can do that three-dimensional in a rainbow effect, and so that rainbow effect then goes to skin on inside of that dome piece, which is about that big around, and that filters out the light. All the light except for that one frequency of whatever that laser that they're using. Um, it's matched for those, so it knows exactly where to go.
And so this is coming off the drones, airplanes, or what's the missiles coming
It,
off of?
back then it was airplanes or like the unmanned airplanes. Now I'm sure they have drones that do that. I've been out of that quite a while now. I'm fully into just computers now. So
Well, you must have a clean background. I'm sure that they went through you with a fine tooth comb before they let you mess with any of that stuff.
yeah, I had the highest clearance that you can get as a civilian.
Well, shit. Then you didn't have any fun, did you?
No, no. They, they watch it pretty fast. But when I in 2010 when I was became a correction officer, I didn't have to worry about anything coming back. So
Yeah. That was an easy pass. That
right,
one.
right.
So how close do they have to be to put that damn laser on them?
Within 100 yards.
And then when they leave, I mean, do they have to stay there till the bomb hits, or can they tag it and leave?
They can pretty much tag it. Once the impact happens, then they can leave. Because if they move that laser and it's in flight, it's going to follow wherever it's touching.
So they got to be within 100 yards of the explosion.
Yes.
Has there ever been any friendly, 100-yard mistakes or anything?
Not that I know of. Of course, they don't tell us where they're going to use them or instances where it failed or anything like that. It's pretty much closely
Yeah, that's
guarded.
that's a little closer than I want to be. Is 100 yards within something that we want to bomb.
Right. Well, and you look at lasers, especially in the daytime, sunlight really diminishes the strength of a laser. So if you want to go further, you can at night, but everybody's going to see a laser at night. So I
Yeah,
mean, it's not something that you can get away from, kind of thing.
that's funny. All right. So after you were designing these holographic guided missiles, what came next?
So I did that for about a year and a half, 2 years, and then
Hey,
Clinton.
did you keep playing football at that junior college?
No, they didn't have one. I played rugby there for a little bit
Shit, you
after,
badass then. You
and
got cauliflower ears?
nope, nope. I wore a headband, so you didn't get that. So in the
Yeah.
scrum, you keep them tight to your head, and I mean, not to say that I didn't have it. I just got lucky and never my ears didn't cauliflower at all.
Damn,
So
you tough if you're doing rugby and football.
yeah,
Shit.
it's fun.
I don't want to piss you off. So you're 6'5",
I'm 6'6".
6'6".
Yeah.
So you're taller than Dallas. I think Dallas is 6'5". Have you seen him?
No, I haven't yet. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting him yet. So that's on my
Shit,
list, though.
I'm 5'10". So you guys, I got shit. I stand up about what nipple high to you guys, man. So
Yeah, I can look Dobbins in the eye, which when I met him in I think it was January, that
and he's
December
six
this year.
seven.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's
And he
six
said it was
seven.
kind
He's
of
crazy.
weird to see somebody looking him in the face, eye to eye. So
Damn, you played rugby, and then you said you played semi-pro ball.
yeah, I played for the Evansville Vipers for 2 years.
How was that?
It was fun. It's expensive because unless the team has backing, financial backing, you pay for all the travel and everything for yourself. So you're traveling to all these cities all over the Midwest, and it's all on your dime. So it became
You
very,
got to
very,
really want it.
yeah. So,
Did
but
you have hopes of getting to the NFL?
now well, I mean, every man dreams of getting to the NFL, but pretty much after my knee got hurt, I was done. So there wasn't any that dream pretty much went sailing.
Did you
So
did you get to get on the field for Purdue?
no,
No.
no.
How'd you hurt your knee?
I got a helmet to the side of my kneecap, and it actually dislodged it and sent it over out of the socket and was laying on the outside of my leg. So I stretched all the tendons and stuff that keep that in place, and it rotated out of the socket. Um,
Could you bend it that way?
nope, I was in a straight leg cast for 9 months.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right, all right. So you developed holographic guided missile noses, caps,
Yep.
and then what'd you do?
So Clinton came into office and cut the defense budget, and so we lost I lost that, or got pretty much laid off. So I went to Chicago and lived in Schaumburg for a while, and I worked for a Japanese company that made five-axis cutters, laser cutters for in industrial stuff like making car parts, stuff like that. So I flew the United States, Canada, and Mexico, installing those in like Caterpillar and in Detroit. We did a lot of like Ford and Chevy, and so I basically lived out a suitcase for about a year and a half, and then that got old. So I decided I would go back to school, and then I went and got my computer degree, full computer degree, and I've been doing computers ever since. The market in lasers, even though it's a well-paying job, it's not stable because it's kind of all over the place. So computers I could do just about anywhere, and so I went back and got my degree in PC support administration, and I minored in business. And I did a little graphic design, so I still do that today. I still do logos and websites and YouTube stuff and all that good stuff.
So tell me, on those lasers that cut, can they cut through anything?
They can cut up to 1.5 inch stainless, all the way to a 3/4 inch steel. So
So to 1.5 inch stainless to 3/4 inch steel.
yep.
So is it just the tip of the laser? Or is it the whole line? Because I always had when I was a kid driving, I always pretended I had a laser going out my car, cutting everything in half as you drive by.
So it's a flatbed laser that you put steel sheets on it, and it clamps to a table that moves in the three axes, and then the laser tip will come down and it'll pierce a hole, and then it'll cut the parts however you design it to, and then they
Hmm.
get belt fed through the back, and picked up by the other teams.
Is, is that cheaper? Because some of them do like water cutting, don't they? Don't they use water?
Yeah, yeah. The you know there's benefits of both. The water uses a sand and it comes out at the speed of sound, so Mach 3, I think, uh, or just under it, and it'll actually pierce through. As a matter of fact, we use a water cutter in the facility that I currently work at to cut parts. So
And then is it like metal cutting like a CNC machine that does it? Those use bits, right?
right, we have a couple of those too.
So, but you can do it with a laser or a water jet.
Correct.
That's pretty cool. All right, I don't know. I'm always interested in steel and knives and stuff. So, all right. Now, what do you do in computers? You said you
So
touched on that a little bit.
yeah, I'm a IT manager for Nucor Steel, and so I right now we used to be Cornerstone Building Brands, and at the facility we build the panels for the outsides of like stadiums, like Georgia Stadium, where they play football, Dallas Cowboy Stadium. That's the panels on the outside of that. It came out of our facility. Um, so I right now we were bought out in August by Nucor Steel, and I run the day to day with another guy. We cover 11 plants for across the United States, and one of them is in Louisville. So I was there just a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah,
and
we couldn't get together. We were
yeah,
talking about getting together and couldn't pull it off.
yeah. So it's been fun. It's we're basically it's a new division to them, so we are basically I support everything that is computers, servers, networking switches, that kind of stuff for 11 plants, down to phones. I do all the phones too, so I stay very busy.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. Well, we'll have to get together next time you come through to Louisville.
Absolutely.
We'll have to get together and work out. I worked out with Jennifer Jolliker of Rhode Island this morning.
Oh, really?
She she killed me. They were in town for that WrestleMania and the Hall of Fame deal, and
Uh-huh.
Dallas is in town, and so Mary and I drove up there to her hotel. I met her husband and her, and she led us in the level one certification workout, which I'm out of practice. It kicked my ass. It hurt me, boy.
Did it?
So yeah. So I'm a little. I need to get back in shape. All
It's
right.
easy to do.
So tell me about your weight history. Tell me when you started having trouble with the weight and
Um,
and, and kind of how that came about.
I'd say after my knee injury, it got really bad. 21 years old, I was over 300 pounds, and I never looked back. I've probably been over 400 for the last 13, 15 years. So I always wanted to just get out. Last year, my goal was just to get under 400 pounds. That was my goal. And so this year, I want to get to 290. I think if I get any lower than that, I'd be happy. But I think functional wise, with my height, my build, 290 is pretty close to where I want to be. Um, so yeah, but it really's kind of spiraled out of control after I had the wreck in 2018.
Well, what was the? Tell me about the wreck.
So I was going to work in February of 2018, and I was headed to the highway, and I was in the left lane, and then there was the safety lane in the middle, and then there's a two lane coming from the other direction, and a lady merged up, and she was on her phone and swerved into my lane. So really quick, I just pulled into the safety lane. Well, a fire truck had pulled out into that safety lane, and I T-boned it. So I hit it
Damn.
head on, and I broke this knuckle into the middle of my hand. Got a concussion, and then
So wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't understand you. The fire truck was coming back the other way,
yeah, it had pulled in the safety lane, headed towards me, uh,
and
responding
that's the
to
lane in the middle.
yeah. And then when I pulled to miss, they had just pulled out, and we met corner to corner, and I T-boned head on. So it hit right at the emblem on the front of the hood. Uh,
To
so
their corner of a fire truck.
yeah.
How fast were they going?
Oh, they just pulled out because there's a fire truck or fire station there. So
Did they have
yeah,
the lights on?
they had just turned them on when I hit them.
Oh man!
Yeah.
And at
So
least you had good,
yeah,
good.
it was good response.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Shit, man, you can't beat that response time on that accident.
So I have a I hate getting hit in the face. And
Yeah,
so when the airbag hit me, I got pissed off, and so I come storming out of the car, and the paramedic, of course, they jump out of the big fire truck, and they're like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! You shouldn't be up." And so I'm like punching the airbag because it pissed me off, and so uh, I didn't see that my knuckle had come. I mean, it was sitting back this far in my hand, so I
would
had
you
to
hit
get
the
that.
windshield or something?
No, I actually had my hand on the shifter, and when I hit, the impact drove it into the dash, and so it that forced it.
Man, fucking computer problems. Yeah, I don't have to tell you about that, do I? That there's something. Hell, let's just start. Oh, it's recording again, so we are recording. There's something that I think it has to do with my Apple iCloud. So this has got a 500 gig solid state drive. This MacBook Pro, but I do the iCloud backup, and there's some kind of setting in there that it keeps dumping a bunch of shit on my damn hard drive and system data and loads it up. And then I go in. I bought this clean up my Mac app. And I go in there and clean it up, and I deleted 154 gigs of data in that iCloud folder. And but when I started, I double checked it. I had 150 some odd gig when I started, and so something it keeps dumping shit in there, and I don't know why. I got to figure it out. It's called the iCloud Kit or something. Because that took me forever to get going with Rob Ramsey. Hell, it took me 2 days to get him. All of this shit started with an update 2 weeks ago. It's been messing me up. But you're not a Mac person.
No, I never liked them. I've worked
It,
on them, and that's probably why I don't like them.
well, this is the first problem I've had with them. I mean, this thing has been idiot proof, but now I can't figure this some bitch out. So anyway, all right. So we got up to your new job, and you're coming to Frisco, and we got to get together and do a DDP Yoga workout. And y'all got laser cutting and getting water shooting machines, and you make the panels for AT&T Stadium. And I did have one question before we get up to your to our current part. How much would it cost you to ship yourself at 465 pounds?
Uh, Probably $2,000-3,000 probably.
You said you weighed yourself on a shipping scale.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that I could probably find out, but I bet it would be about two, three. They'd have to crate me up for one.
That's funny. And the rugby, was it pro rugby? Was it
No, it
amateur
was just
league?
college, amateur college.
Man, that's
Yeah,
a
we
tough
played
ass
like
sport there.
Indiana State, that kind of, you know, Division II basically, um, st- style stuff. So,
Tell me the philosophy on the scrum.
uh, basically, it is a unified push, um, of masculinity to be it. You just basically locking horns with, and it's you against them mentality, and then you usually have like your front wall, and then you have a they throw up the ball, and you have somebody that launches the lighter guys in the air to go grab it, and then off you go. But it's kind of like soccer; you never stop moving. And
So so when
you
so when
know,
the ball comes down, the ball goes into the middle, right down in the bottom.
you can, or when you stop, or when you start, they throw it, they launch it up in the air,
Yeah.
and you both have a person go after it. But normally it starts with a scrum, and then they have somebody that puts it on the ground, and then you're fighting. You're basically trying to push your wall back to get your guys in the back behind you, the so they can clear out the ball.
So does the ball sit
So yeah,
still until somebody behind you can pick it up,
pretty much, yeah.
or can you push it back to the people behind you?
No, it's more of you. The only way they can get it is that you have to, with the guys next to you, you have to clear a way to push it. And at that point, I was probably 390. So I took up a lot of room myself. So it wasn't. But I've always been quick. I've always been a fast, big guy. I could
Yeah.
always run when I was younger, and now you have to be bigger than I am before I'm going to run for nothing. Um, So I'm not much of a runner anymore.
Well, that's funny. I've never talked to someone that's been in the middle of them scrums. So do y'all mess with each other like in the line, football line, when everybody's in a big pile? There's grabbing and pinching and punching.
Well, I will say that if you go down and you're not quick enough, you will. Let's say you get the ball and you're running and you fall or something, and there's somebody there, you're going to get cleated. They
Yeah.
will cleat your back or whatever's there to try to get you to basically give the ball up. So you pretty much, if you learn real quick not to hit the ground, you do whatever you can to not. And if you do hit the ground, your ass better be fast because they're coming.
That's a tough ass sport. Now, what's the New Zealand? Don't they have a good rugby team?
They do.
The
Yeah.
the black something.
New Zealand blacks.
Yeah, they're supposed to. They do the little dance, but they're supposed to be badass.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, tell us about your DDPY. When you said that you started it because you'd done your research and you saw my video. Um, what let's see, what other programs had you tried before trying DDPY?
I mean, I've done the typical gym. I was always a gym rat because of football. I squatted over 700 pounds when I was a lineman. I benched over 500. So
Damn.
I've always been in the gym. I've always been that kind of, but heavy lifting is a young man sport, is not
Mm-hmm.
a for the over 40, unless you've done it for that long. Getting into it, it's not safe. It Matter of fact, when I would do it, I'd go to the Y and, I'd get a membership or Planet Fitness, and I'd end up hurting myself because
Mm-hmm.
I'm the type of person that I want to go hard, go fast, and get back to where I was. And I would end up hurting myself. And so I needed something that I could get a good sweat, that it was going to be a workout, but wasn't going to beat up my body like a treadmill on my knees or ellipticals or that kind of stuff. And so I came up with it was either go swimming every day or try this. And it was the middle of pandemic, and I was like, well, going to swimming every day is pretty much out. So let's give this a whirl. And I was like, I'll give it 3 weeks, and if it doesn't, then I'll figure something else out. And so I felt within the 3 weeks, I felt a huge difference in just doing the stand strong and chair workouts. How I was standing, my back was feeling, because at that point when I started, I couldn't go more than 10, 15 minutes of standing or walking or anything, and I would have to bend over a table or something to get the pressure off my back. So for me not to be having those issues was huge. And so within a month, I'd already lost, I mean, I lost 25 pounds the very first week that I did DDPY. And I started doing low carb diet. And then kind of hit a plateau. And I have a friend of mine that she's a herbalist, and she runs and does intermittent fasting and like a keto lifestyle. And um, so I started talking to her, and I did a 4 week one-on-one with her, and she taught me the science of intermittent fasting and how to eat, what supplements to take for my body. One being adrenal support, because anybody that holds all their weight up front in like a beer belly, um, it's caused by your adrenal glands. So Amazon has this thing called from Dr. Berg called adrenal support, and I take 3 pills a day, and it's one in the morning, lunch, and at dinner time. And I started doing OMAD, which is 1 meal a day, and I kind of worked my way up, and I would do low carb with her style eating, which she says to eat your vegetables first. So I break a fast with a small salad of leafy greens like spinach or kale, something like that, with maybe a little cheese or a little bit of protein, something like that. Then I wait a half hour, and then I eat my dinner. So the salad breaks your fast gently and gets your body burning metabolism back up and engages your food. So when you do that, you eat your protein first. That fuels the body. Um, but if you like let's say you have squash or zucchini or something that's cooked, I'll eat that first. I eat my proteins, and then I eat my fats last, which I do like keto bombs for my dessert. Um, I don't forget who makes them, but they're like a little mint cup, like that big around. I think it's Slim Fast that makes them. I do that. I had 2 of those for my dessert, and that's my fat. So learning how to eat like that, I saw a big uptick in my weight loss. I kind of plateaued right before I hit 100, so I had lost like 90 pounds before that. And then within that 4 week, I had dropped like 60 pounds in the course of that. So I noticed that my stomach and my measurements dropped really, really quick. I noticed that um, I was my body was feeling better. I wasn't feeling so sluggish. I wasn't hungry. And now I do 48-hour fasts. So I eat on Sunday, Saturdays and Sundays, and then on Monday I fast the whole day, and Tuesday till I hit dinner time I fast, so I eat 4 to 8, and then I will fast again till Thursday, and I will eat 4 to 8, and then I fast again till Saturday, and then I eat Saturday and Sunday 1 meal a day. So I've kind of kept that up, and I've been averaging from 2 to 4 pounds a week for the whole time I've been on that kind of diet. But it's something that I had to work up to for sure. But my cravings have gone down because I was an emotional eater. Every time I was happy, sad, celebrate, whatever, it was food that I ran
Amen.
to,
Amen.
and I don't have that with this. A lot of it is when you eat, you actually feel sluggish. When you eat and come off, you get a big mental and physical energy boost with this. And I have to give her a shout out.
This is your
Her name,
herbalist.
yeah, Shonda Riggs. She runs the Keto Life. It's KEATO on Facebook. If you're interested, hit me up on Facebook or wherever, and I'll get you her information. I've actually went to high school with her, so I've known her for 30 years, give or take, and she's an excellent person. She's actually got a PhD, and she does like a lifestyle coaching. One-on-one with you once a week, however long. I think it's for 4 weeks. It's like hundred and something dollars. I might be wrong on the amount, but I mean it might have been $200. But anyway, it's well worth it. It'll teach you how to eat. And she actually will take a questionnaire, and depending on how you answer it, will custom tailor your program to you and how she wants you to eat, what vitamins you should be taking, any supplements like the adrenal support that you should be taking. So basically, I am all natural. The adrenal support is all natural. I drink nothing but water, except for some electrolyte powder that also comes by Dr. Berg, and it's all natural minerals and stuff. So I drink that with a little bit of lemon, and I drink about 100 ounces of water a day, and I fast, and so it's really changed how I look at food. It's more as a fuel now than it is emotional support, and that's what I needed. I needed a change in how I looked at food, how I coveted food. And I was, before I went on this, I was the type of person, hell, I'd be eating breakfast and already thinking and what I'm going to fix and what I'm going to have for lunch and dinner. And because food is a drug. And if you're not putting that in check and getting help for that, it can consume you. It can definitely make you and take you places that can crush you if you let it. So getting that weight off of that emotional weight inside of food was huge for me.
What's her uh, PhD in?
It's I'll have to look it up. It's some kind of like herbalist on dietary using natural herbs and plant-based or plant or not plant-based but vegetables and fruits and um, using protein and how basically how you structure your eating plans by the conditions that you have. And so if you look at my pictures when I was going through when I first started, all my weight was right here. I mean, I had a huge pot belly. I called the keg, and so she identified that right off the bat. I had a lot of weight that I carried right here, and that is also a good If you carry a lot of weight here and up front, you have adrenal gland issues, and
So tell
that
me
will
what
give
that
you
means.
cravings. That
Tell me what
so
adrenal gland issues mean. I had a lady here in town that wanted to do a some kind of gland cleaning. I don't know if it was adrenal, but it, they put some kind of machine. That was lymph nodes. She wanted to clean my lymph nodes. So we're talking about different things with the adrenal glands, right?
yeah. So adrenal is kind of like your thyroid. It regulates. One of it is your stress and cortisol. And stress and cortisol will slow down your fat burning. So, if you're not maintaining your stress and your cortisol, your weight will fluctuate really rapidly. And so you'll have, before I was, when I, before her program, I would swing 10 pounds one way and the other, constantly through the week. And
Well,
like I
that's
would
what I
wake up
do.
in the morning and I would be like 6, 8 pounds up, and I'm like, what the hell's going on, And then I would do a workout, and then I had lost that 4 to 6 pounds out of sweat, and maybe one or two left, and then the next morning I would swing back up, and I was like, there's something going on, and like doctors checked my thyroid, nothing was going on. So my wife actually was in the process of trying to lose weight as well, and she started with Shonda, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to talk to her, see what she has to say, and give it a try. Because it was like, at that point, I had tried everything else. There was like a 3 week period I hadn't lost any weight. I hadn't gained any, hadn't lost any. No matter how hard I went, I couldn't break through it. And I was like, if it doesn't work, then I haven't. I at least supported my wife through that 4 weeks and did what she was doing as far as meal planning and all that stuff. So the adrenal dumps a lot of cortisol into your blood, and so that uh, when it paired with stress will slow down your fat burning and your metabolism to almost a stop. It's the same thing as when you drink a lot of alcohol. A lot of people don't know. As soon as you drink alcohol, it stops your metabolism and your fat burning for 72 hours. So every time you take a drink of alcohol, and I was a big beer drinker before, I haven't touched any alcohol in over a year. Um, just something that I decided to do. And I was like, if I'm going to do it, I would rather not drink my calories. So that was just a personal decision I decided to make. After, pairing it with scientific evidence, fasting is found to help you discharge bad bacteria, bad cells in your body, expels all that stuff. So, she gave me the science. I did what she asked, and I got immediate results. I lost 18 pounds the very first week I went on it. I had broke through the plateau and went 18 pounds down, and then I averaged from 12 to 18 pounds a week after I went on this. And now that I'm getting closer to my goal, that's slowed down to about 2 to 4, but I haven't really slowed down. I've maintained that 2 to 4 pound loss up to September. And then, I had a lot going on with the foot and the mobility issues. So I did gain about 20 back. So when I started the challenge this year, I was 345. So that was January 17th this year. And so here it's April 2nd. I'm down 32 pounds in about 3 months. So I'm still doing 2 to 4 pounds a week and get my getting my strength back up to where it was, being able to work through. I'm back. Went back to the standing strong and the chair workouts and went through a little bit of the beginner. And so now I'm back up to doing like below the belt, that kind of stuff. the lower end of the yellows. But I was never able to get into the advanced. So I'm excited this one if I can stay healthy and don't have any more setbacks. I'm hoping to get up in the advance and kind of see where I can take this.
What electronic you got on your wrist?
Oh, right here, it's just a
Yeah.
band. It's a
Uh,
band that my son gave me. Uh, it just says "Never Give Up," and it's
I
something that I
like it.
wear. And
A
so that's
reminder.
yeah, that's been my mantra from the get go. Is I've quit on myself so many times before, and I tell people I quit so much I'm out of quit. So I don't know how to do it anymore. So
Well, that's the one, one reason I started making it all public, because I can't tell you how many damn diets and exercise programs I started and quit on my own.
right.
But did you ever read a book called The Obesity Code by Dr. Fung?
No, I didn't.
It's all about intermittent fasting, like you're talking about, and with Dr. Berg. I hadn't People have referred me to Dr. Berg. I don't know that much about him, but when I read that book, The Obesity Code, that book described my life, and it was of all the books that I've read over the years, that's the one, when you read it, say that's me, and but I tried intermittent fasting, and I tried doing what you're doing. I haven't never got up to like 48 hours regular. I would do the 16/8 pretty regular or something like that, or 24 or something. And and then one time I went about 4 or 5 days without eating, and then I started getting real weak, so I broke it. But my problem was I felt great when I was fasting, but then when I'd eat, I couldn't stop eating. And it sounds like that. Now, I didn't do what you're doing with eating a salad first and waiting 30 minutes. I would just start eating. And then once I started eating, I ate for that whole period because I knew I wasn't going to get to eat again. And so I just ate during that whole damn period. And I never could figure out how to keep myself from doing that. I just didn't have enough discipline, I guess. But I wonder if doing the salad like you're talking about really keeps you from getting into those
You know,
cravings.
and it's funny that because when she told me that, I had saw a YouTube video that Dallas did that he would go
I've seen
into
that.
the hotels and he would eat a salad before he went out to dinner. And so I was like, there's something to this salad before dinner. And basically what it does is it's a good way to break your fast, but it sets the tone for your meal because when you eat that salad, you're less hungry.
Hmm.
You'd already filled up on the good stuff, even though protein and the cooked vegetables. But I would eat all my vegetables first, and then I would eat my protein, and then I would eat my fat. And the fat's there at the end to sustain you to the next fast, because the fat is what makes you feel full
Yeah.
for a longer period of time. Um, so using that science and just applying it, I'm not saying it's easy. It's definitely makes you check your mental because
Yeah.
when you get to that first 24 hours and it's dinner time and you're used to eating for all those years, you have to be mentally tough to say no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to wait. And I mean, it's a daily battle, um, especially at dinner time when I am fasting through the night. But I tell you what, when you wake up that next morning and you get that shot of energy, it's like the best cup of coffee you've ever had in your life. Um,
Yeah. I felt great doing the fast. Absolutely fantastic. Clear thinking. I thought I could
yep,
think better, but I just couldn't. I couldn't control the damn eating. I tried it. I tried it hard 3 times over these last 4 years. Because I'm a firm believer in it, and after reading Dr. Fung's book, I'm a firm believer in it and in him, and because I really think he's onto something,
yep.
and I think that's the best way. But you know I just can't control my eating during that window, and that's what I've got to master, you know. But the other thing I wanted to say is that in Fung's book, he talks a lot about mixing it up. Like, don't let your body get used to, say, you're doing a 16-8 for months. Don't let your body, you want to shake your body up. You want to throw in a long fast every now and then, or no fat. You want to shake it up just to keep your body guessing. But
Yep.
I don't know. Do you do that, or you?
Yeah,
How long have you been doing the 48 hours?
so I do the 48 hours, usually 3 times a week, for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then I throw in a Friday where I don't fast at all. I eat like a lunch and a dinner, and I usually try to take the carbs up as much as I can. And then I'll eat Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday I go back strict on my 48s again. And so, like yesterday, I actually I ordered a cauliflower pizza from a place that does it here in town, and had that with some garlic butter, and it gives me the illusion of having a pizza, but it's not the amount of carbs that you would per slice of, like going to out to, one of the big chains. Um,
That's
so
what
I
we
get a
do
10-inch
on.
pizza, and it's like 40 carbs, I think, which is about twice what I want to have. But
Mhm.
I know that to keep going at the rate that I have been. I have to mix it up with some trick my body into thinking that it's good. Now my mind and my body hate me when I do it. There is definitely I'll feel sluggish. I'll feel like I can never get full
Mhm.
if I let it. But then it has to go to a little bit of discipline there to say when what I do is I use the Lose It app, and I pay for it, and
Mhm.
I schedule everything I'm going to eat before I eat it.
That's something the
So one,
nutritionist told me to do.
yeah, and the reason why that is, and why I did it, and that was one of Shonda's recommendations, is because once you've obtained everything that you planned on eating, and you've hit all your fats, and you did all that, using pork rinds for a snack from time to time, some nuts, which nuts you should eat, which ones you shouldn't, which are actually good for you, which ones will counterbalance you or make you more hungry, um, that kind of stuff. So I plan my stuff out when I'm going to eat. I allow myself to have a couple snacks like pork rinds or something like that every once in a while. But for the most part, once I've obtained and I've ate everything that I planned, I don't eat anything else. I'm usually I'm so stuffed by that point that I don't want to eat anything else. But that's a lot of that is the conditioning of how I eat
Mhm.
and how I
So,
plan. Um,
so which nuts are you supposed to eat, and which ones you're supposed to avoid? All nuts are a big problem for me. That salty nuts, but I start eating them. All I think about is eating them damn nuts.
Almonds are good, lightly salted. Cashews are probably number two. They're really good in fat, but you have to watch the calories on them. So, probably a cup, maybe 2 cups is all you're going to want to eat, and that's if you've done well. And I do those more as a alternative for my fats. I'll do like whole cashews with light sea salt. I'll take a cup of those and I'll put it in the lid of that and I'll eat it. Maybe with some pork rinds for a snack. But for the most part, those two are really good. Peanuts are the horrible for you um, because of the amount of carbs per. nut is like crazy. It's like 3 times what an almond is, and your body can't break down a peanut like it can other nuts for some reason. So I stay away from peanuts, but like really any nut except for peanuts is pretty good. Macadamia nuts are okay. You have to watch them because they're really high in fat.
Man, I love
But
them
yeah,
damn macadamia nuts.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
they're good, but you definitely have to. So what I do is I dish them out and then I put them up. And once I get past that part, I don't go back. So I keep them out of sight, out of mind. I take what portion I have. I usually portion them out in like cup and a half, 2 cups. I put them in Ziplocs, and then you know I know when I eat a Ziploc, that's all I get. I don't leave the container there because if the container's there, it's hard for me to judge what
Yeah,
and
how
how
much to
much I'm
eat?
eating. So
You know, we used to be on the deer lease. My brother still has it, and but we were on it for years with my dad, and then after his death. But the owner of the deer lease that we've leased from all these years, he had a macadamia nut farm in Hawaii. And so, since he had that farm, he had to fly out there and check on it a couple of times a year, and write everything off. And took my dad out there once, caught a big marlin, and but hey, I don't know. Talking about macadamia nuts makes me think of Jack Clark and him and my dad. A lot of good stories with him. He was a crazy dude, but if we ever get enough money, we need to buy some macadamia nut farm in Hawaii. I mean, that's a hell of a reason to go out there. I got to go out
right,
and walk around my macadamia nut farm for a day just to check on the farm. But yeah, you said that she spells keto with an A. I've never seen it spelled with the A. Keto life.
it's Keato. And the reason why she did that is everybody can type in keto and they're going to get bombarded with different groups and things. But with the uh, Keato, you pretty much have nothing in that. So it makes it easier for people to find her. But I highly recommend it. I've actually started teaching people, especially in the challenge this year. Last year was all about losing weight. This year has been inspiring other people and teaching them what I've learned, um, and kind of tweaking what I've learned, with the DDPY, and using that to help others. And so that's my passion this year is kind of doing what your story did to me is inspiring. I want to inspire other people and help them get to their goals.
Well, that's what it's all about, man. Paying it forward, I mean, DDP and Steve, you gave us this life, and we owe it to pass it forward. That's just the way it is, I mean, I my life was miserable. I'm only 5'10". At 475, my life was absolutely miserable, man. And
Yep.
even
I
though
mean,
I'm,
I don't
yeah, go
miss
ahead.
those being out of breath, going up a flight of 3, 4 steps, and have going from the car to the recliner and being completely out of breath. I don't miss those times. And honestly, I'm come so far now. I will never let myself go back. I've the way I feel and the way DDPY is a tool, for sure, and he will. It's a tool that will change your life, but learning the diet part of it was 90% of my issues. Once I got that, DDPY just took it the rest of the way. So getting my diet down was my biggest hurdle. Once I got that locked down, it was on, and
Yeah.
I haven't looked back. So
Well, I agree. I mean, I really think, they talk about diet being 90% of it, and DDP always says you can't outwork a bad diet, bro. And
that's right.
the diet is such a big component. I really think it's 95% of it. I mean, I think, I think the diet's everything. I mean, hell, you're 152 pounds down, and you've done this through a broken pelvis and a broken foot that you had to get cast twice and reset. I
Yep.
mean, you've kept maintaining this weight over what, 2 years? How long have you been doing this?
Uh, about so I started January of last year, so about 15 months, almost 16
15
months
months.
now.
And you
So
suffered those two broken injuries during this
yeah,
part?
matter of fact, I started last year in January, and February 4th we had an ice storm, and I rode 3 concrete steps down on my butt and broke my tailbone in 3 spots. And there's nothing they can do for that. So all the floor work I did on a pillow, like a tailbone pillow, to
You
keep
get
me
your
off the floor and keep the pressure off.
mediation pillow, yeah.
So
I
and then
mean, I
when I
mean a
broke my foot,
meditation
I did
meditation pillow.
yeah, yeah. And so when I broke my foot, same thing. I went back to the chair. I went back to um, what he gave us as tools. So I modified what I could, did what I could, did a lot of barbell with when you hold the ball, I would hold two barbells out and do what I could to engage the top half where I couldn't engage the bottom half. So I mean, there's always a way to go. Like with DDPY, there's always somewhere to go. Um, but it helped me rebuild. Matter of fact, when I came out, they wanted me to go to rehab, and I told the doctor I had been doing this yoga, and she's like, "Well, try it, and if it doesn't work, we'll always do rehab." And I went back for a 3-week checkup, and I came in walking with no limp. She goes, "How did you do that?" And I showed her the program. Now she's telling other people to do it because she was like amazed at how well I responded. And I mean, it shocked me. I'm not saying it didn't hurt, and I'm not saying that it still doesn't hurt, but I know when I'm going to do like toe raisers, I'm going to struggle. It's that arch is going to be burning. It's not going to be my friend that day. When I do a lot of lunges, same thing. I will switch to do some of the lunges and then I finish in warrior. So my foot's flat. So it kind of keeps me still moving, still progressing, but it doesn't put all the impact on my arch like so it can
The
heal.
lunges.
So
Yeah, that's
it's
so that you're talking about the lunge phase where the back foot is you're up on the balls of your foot with your heel in the air
correct.
with the
Yeah,
back foot of the lunge. And that's what
right.
really bothers you, huh?
Yeah, because I mean, your foot's like this uh,
Yeah.
with your toes engaged, but it puts all
Hmm.
the pressure in your arch. So I had to, I'll do a set, but like if I'm doing Synergy 40 or something that's more strenuous that has more of those, I'll do the first round. I'll see where it's at. Second round, I might have to do a warrior on the back where I put my foot flat on the floor, where I don't engage that part, just so I don't injure it or take it too far too fast. So I've been really careful this year on making sure that I stay healthy. I listen to my body, and when it hurts, I do like stretching or something. I don't push it. Um, so I'm learning to work around, listen to my body, and so now I'm just trying to get my strength up to where I want it to be, and get to 290, and I'm done. Or I shouldn't say done. I'll be in maintenance mode.
Hey, that's you'll find that the maintenance is the hardest part. Not that
Yeah,
losing it's any easy. Losing it's a huge, huge deal. But then once you meet your goal and then you got to stay there, it that's well, at least I've struggled with that, man. I've got to figure out how to get back down there and stay at that weight. It's hard to stay that strict for a long time.
I almost put it as I have a healthy routine. I know that if I want to go in maintenance mode, I'm going to do one meal a day. I'm not going to necessarily fast for 48 hours, but I'll do one meal a day. And if I need it, if I see my mine going up and I need to get back down, I can always go back to a 48-hour fast or something like that. So, but my my maintenance, I've already pretty much mapped out what that's going to look like, and I'm sure I'm going to have to do some adjusting. But being on the podcast, the next 90% with Justin, he's given me a lot of insight on what that's going to look like and to prepare now for what it's going to look like when I get there. And I'm thinking I'm probably 3 months away from my goal. So I want to put everything I can in place now to prepare me for when I get there. Um, but being on there with Justin and Caitlin and seeing them being successful for that long a period of time has really been beneficial.
And both those guys are beasts. That Justin and Caitlin. So are you a host of the 90%? Are you on
Yep,
there?
I'm one of the four. I do all the producing, editing, all that stuff of the podcast, and it's the next 90%. We have our website, it's the next90%.com. You can check out all of our stuff on there. I think we have like 10 or 11 episodes now. Uh,
Sweet.
we've done quite a bit of the mental health side of what it takes after you maintain your or you've hit your goal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we've interviewed a lot of the last year's champions, but we just had some planning this last week. We're gonna do the effects of social media and the benefits of chiropractic, um, doing
Chiropractic care.
yeah cryogenic stuff, that kind of thing. So um, we're we're hoping to have some pretty good sized guests in the DDPY community that will help to inspire and get some insight on longevity and what it takes after you hit those goals to get your mental right. And so yeah, it's been interesting being on the other side of the ball where those two have completed their transformation, where Aaron Graytrix and I are the other half, where we're still chasing that ending to the maintenance part of it. So my goal this year is to hit my goal while on the podcast and being able to celebrate that and share that and let people see that portion of it firsthand, because we don't think that's ever been captured before as far as the struggles and stuff that I'm going to have once I get to that, where I've obtained that final goal, and then what that's going to look like after that is going to be interesting, to say the least.
So it's you, it's Caitlin K, Justin Dobbins, and you said Aaron
Great
Greatrix.
tricks. Uh-huh.
How do you spell Greatrix? I don't know that person.
It's Greatix. And
Greatix.
yeah,
There's no R after T. Greatix.
I think she does have an R.
Greatix. So it's two guys and two ladies.
Yeah, it's Greatrix.
Greatrix. And so where is she along in her journey?
She started about the same time I did, and we
Mm-hmm.
actually clicked as friends, and we stayed pretty close. She has had mobility issues and different things, and she is a rock star. She is definitely was one of the elite last year in the group. And
All right, all right. Well, hold
we
on.
were both.
I'm gonna go ahead. Keep talking. I'm gonna add her to my
Uh,
uh, potential podcast interviewees.
yeah,
But
she
go
would be
ahead.
great.
Tell us about her.
She's a Canadian. She is went through. She has PCOS and some other ailments that and mobility issues from a car wreck. So that
What's
that
PCOS?
it's a polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Oh
My
yeah, somebody
actual
else. Go ahead.
my wife actually has that as well, and so we kind of just clicked. Our stories are pretty close. She,
I think Stephanie Trujillo Kelly has that. I think because I I felt like I wanted to ask her about it, but I didn't even know enough about what to ask.
yeah,
How do you spell Aaron?
uh, ERIN.
Okay, Aaron, great. I got her added to my list. But yeah, I mean, shit, I'm so ignorant of female problems that I didn't even know what to ask about that.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll study up before I take Erin's interview.
yeah.
Anything I need to ask her? Anything I need to? I can. You said she's a comedian. Anything I can embarrass
Well,
her with?
no, but I will tell you, she does a 15-minute plank and
Mm,
did it on camera. So
that's
she's
a
a beast.
beast.
Yeah.
How much
So
has she lost?
close to 100, I think.
She did a 15-minute plank.
Yeah, on camera.
Shit, she's a
And
beast. Oh, Jennifer Joliker started us with a 4-minute plank before we started the level 1 certification workout,
True.
and she did the 4 minute. I couldn't do it. I mean, I'm out of shape. I could do maybe. I think I dropped to my knees before like a minute and a half, and Mary lasted longer than I did. But I kept having to go to my knees for those last couple of minutes. But
I can do about 2.5, maybe push 3, but um,
uh,
I really have to watch. I I have to overlap my left over my right to keep a lot of the pressure off my
that
foot right
arch,
now. So
yeah,
I have to. But yeah, that's what she's noted for. If you look her up in the DDPY Yoga group, she's pretty much all over it. So uh, she she's been one of my good friends since I started this, and we kind of just hooked up and started talking about it and our stories. She also had a bad accident with a Peterbilt truck, and that kind of started her mobility issues, and so she did the same thing I did, which using this to get the mobility better. And so she's a great person, great friend, and
well,
she's
that's
come a long
awesome.
way.
I'm gonna have to tell her I'm on a dinger someday to get on the podcast.
I will.
I definitely need more women. I'm kind of always end up with more guys than ladies. So if there's any good DDPY female stories out there, I want to talk to them. I don't want this to be an all male club.
Right, right.
But I was gonna ask you something. Shit, I forgot. But I'll start talking. It'll come back to me. But um, I mean, like I said, I think the diet's 95%, and then DDPY is in that last 3 to 4%. That
Yep,
you know, the diet gives you your life back, but DDPY gives you the ability to physically do anything you want to do. I mean,
yep.
you've completely having that flexibility and that strength. You completely change the way you interact with the environment. I mean, it's
Yep.
unbelievable. It's
Well, I know
crazy.
because of the bulging disc, I had chronic sciatic nerve issues on both sides of my hips. And, um, when I got to September last year, I went to the chiropractor and those three bulging discs were completely repaired. They had
You don't have them
completely,
anymore.
not one bit.
Oh, I know
And
what I was going to ask you. Did they put that fault of that accident on you or on the fire truck?
it was on me.
It was on you.
Yep.
So did you have to pay for the fire truck?
Yep.
How much did you have to pay to repair a fire truck?
It was $7,000 just for the bumper.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. Did you have
Yeah, it was.
insurance?
Yes, full coverage, thank God.
Full coverage. Well, I mean, there's a lot of immunity for a first responder acting in the course of their job responsibilities. So
Yes.
it's pretty neat. All right, man. If people want to listen to the next 90%, I don't want to get the name wrong. It's the next 90% podcast.
Yeah, it's the next 90%, and we're on YouTube, and I think we have audio version, but that's also in the links of the YouTube. We're on our website, thenext90percent.com, and our
That's what I was gonna
schedule
say.
and all that stuff. All our links are in there. We have a Facebook group as well, that you can. We kind of give. The listeners the option to tell us what they want to hear, what subjects they might need help with or want us to talk about, or things that they're struggling with. We kind of keep it open to the public, and get feedback from them on who they want to see, if it's a person or what subjects they want us to talk about. So we kind of hit it at that, and we're not scared to talk about the stuff that other people are scared to talk about. And mental health's not something that a lot of people like to talk about, but we hit the hard issues. And ours are about 30 to 45 minutes, usually an episode. So it's easy to digest when you're going to work or on a lunch break or, something like that. And that's kind of our niche, that we want to make it easy, quick, digestible stuff that will help you through your day.
Ah, I like it. I like it. I think it's good, man. Sounds good. I'll have to check it out. So are you in a podcast feed? The RSS feeds, or do you just do
Yeah,
the YouTube?
yeah, we do RSS, but we're not on like iTunes or anything yet. That's something that we'll probably look into, but I think I use Soundbar for the RSS, that you can do the audio version. But mostly all of our stuff is on YouTube right now.
What streaming service do y'all use?
We use StreamYard,
You
which,
like it?
yeah, it's a good product, and it's easy to use, easy to edit from. And then I use Flamora to do all my editing for the podcast.
I've never
And
heard
then
of Flamore.
yeah, it's a paid. I use a paid version. It's kind of like iMovie or that kind of stuff, but it has a lot of tools and different things. And because I do custom I YouTube intros and logos and stuff, I use it a lot with my editing. And
How do you
so
spell Flamore?
it's I have to look. It's by Wondershare. Let me look. I don't even know if I have it on this. It's let me look it up real quick. I don't want to tell you wrong.
Where do you where do you get the music? I mean the royalty free music.
There's a couple sites out there, but Flormora has a pretty good stock of music, and so I just and it's Filmora, Flormora. Um, so I have a couple websites that I use for that. I have some friends that uh, can make some music for me if I need it, or if I can't find something that fits, they can make it for me, and uh, so I do all copyright free stuff. But I've kind of added that uh, to our guests that come on the podcast. If they don't have a logo like the last year, the 2021 winners, if they didn't have a logo or an intro, I did that for them. Um, so I just
Did you do
did
that? Did
Candy's.
you do that logo that Brian tattooed on him? It was
No,
something
Brian
six.
hasn't come, but I did Jeremy Landry's. I did Candy.
Yeah,
Candies.
Rotten.
Um,
Herndon.
I've done quite a few of theirs and did custom intros for them. And um, we
Well,
had,
old Jeremy's got a good story. He ain't scared to talk
yes, he
about it, is
does.
he?
No, and
His,
he should be.
I just,
It's a great.
yeah, I interviewed him last Saturday, so his comes out tomorrow.
Okay.
And yeah, it's that dude. He's done good for himself,
Yes, he
so
has.
that's good. Well, I mean, I'm interested always in the technical and stuff because I've got the world's worst and dumbest computer person and techno person because it's me, and I'm just stumbling along. So, but it's pretty, man. I really enjoy the podcasting, man. Of all the stuff I do, if I can make a living doing this podcasting, this is what I do because I like sitting and talking and hearing everybody's story and just
Right.
bullshitting. Hell, it's
Yeah, if we could get sponsors to do it, I would definitely do
yeah.
it.
Man, I mean, this would be greatness to sit and bullshit and get paid.
Right.
We'd be. Did you ever see that old movie, History of the World, with Mel Brooks? We'd be stand up bullshitters.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I think that would be my card, stand up bullshitter. I think so.
Nothing
But
wrong
I
with
was a
that.
philosophy major in college. I was my undergraduate degree was philosophy and business. I took a lot of the ethics courses,
Yep.
and so a lot of the ethics worked with business too. I mean, it got business credit, so I added a few business courses just to get a double concentration. And I went to a little liberal arts school, so they had everybody got a bachelor of arts, but you had these concentrations that you could work in, and so I was mainly philosophy with business. So and then went to law school, but I like the bullshitting side of things. So, all right, man. Well, it's impressive to me that you've stuck with it through the injuries. That's huge because mentally any setback or anything life throws at you is an excuse to quit.
Yep.
And I mean, shit, you did it through running into a fire truck and in breaking your foot. So my hat goes off to you, man. That's an awesome deal. Any
Appreciate it.
advice on the mental side?
Seek help. Talk to people. Uh, you know what? As far as us men, we're kind of conditioned to put that weight on our shoulders. But if you're dealing with something, go talk to somebody. If it's food, go get the needed help that you're needing to get through that, because until you can identify why it's happening, you'll never understand why you're doing it. If it's, I have PTSD. I was a correction officer for 5 years in a max jail, and things that um, I saw on a day-to-day basis. Those people that those faces come haunt me at night. Um, and that is something that I had to go get help with, and I lean on other people, especially in the community that are active, were actively deployed, that helped me with tools, and I have seen therapists for that. They've given me tools. I don't have to go full time anymore, but that is something that I did do. And Shonda was my therapist for the food. She taught me why and how, and kind of made sense to me why I was doing the things that I was doing, the way I was feeling, the ways I was. So my thing is, don't ever think that you can't um, find help. There's people out there that'll listen. Hell, I'll listen. Um, if it's something that I can, if I don't know it, I'll figure it out and point you in a direction of somebody that can. But talk about it is the main thing. Get out there, be open about it. Um, I can guarantee you, if you're having issues with it, somebody else is having it or had it. And so, a lot of what I found in this last 15 months is a lot of our stories look the same. Only the book cover and the pages look different. The story has a lot of similarities. Where we came from, how we got there, might look the same, but when you dive in those pages, they're just a little different. The words and the spine and whatever might be a little bit different, but I guarantee it'll relate to somebody. So just be open, be honest, and if you need help, there's people out there that you can get help. Um, and I'm open to anybody that needs to talk. I have about 10 people right now that are in the group alone that I'm helping, along. So yeah, look me up if you're on the DDP Yoga or the Positively Unstoppable group, and you think you're alone. You're not alone. We're all family. We're all here to. We have the same mission, same wants and needs, and um, our whys might be different. Our stories might be, a little different, but I guarantee you, what you're feeling, other people are feeling.
Well said. The I skipped right over your max prison duties. I want to learn. I want to hear a little more about that. You did that for 5 years.
Yeah, I started in 2010. It was back. I was doing IT work, but it was in a time where Lexington was going to a lot of like contract work. I was working for a little mom and pop place, and they couldn't really afford to keep me on full time and pay benefits and the stuff that I needed. So I looked into it. I had a friend at the time that worked there with me that was looking into it, and I was like, I'll give it a shot. Worst case, I don't go through it. I go to a different IT related um, place, but it just clicked. Everything went through. It was state and federal benefits. And so I started in 2010, went through 17 weeks of training. And then by the end, I was one of the lead corporals on second shift. And I did all the training of all the new recruits. By the time I left, I was on the CERT team, which is the internal SWAT team. I met career criminals. I met part of assassin from the Boston Mafia. I met, all the way down to people that were looking for 25 to life and had nothing to lose. So, you know, I I saved lives. I've seen people die. I was in the unit when a guy did a swan um, dive off top tier and hit a stainless steel table, and I scooped his head back in. So that kind of stuff just played hard on me. I was unfortunately I saw three people die, and one of them was by accident um, from another fellow officer that um OC sprayed a guy while he was restrained, and he actually had a heart attack right there in a chair in front of me, and doing CPR and watching his basically soul leave his body. It's something that you never forget, and it changes you. So it I've come a
I
long
don't.
way in the last. Go ahead.
No, no, no. Shit, I don't want to cut you off for this story. You said you come a long way from the
So,
last.
so it, I had noticed when my son was born in 2014. I noticed that my personality and things that I've seen were changing me, and um, I watched a good friend of mine get shanked by a inmate. Right, basically, he took lead where I normally was when we went and did cell entries, and so if things had gone how they normally would, I would have gotten shanked. He got 32 stitches. Had already did two tours in Afghanistan, one in Iraq, so three tours, and was already having PTSD, and he killed himself. And he was a good friend, good mentor, and from that day on, I just decided I couldn't do it anymore. I was having to sleep towards the wall because when those night terrors come of you being in a cell with 120 inmates and they're all jumping on you and you're having those dreams, and I would wake up punching the wall and blood running down my fist because I was actively having a night terror, um, that kind of stuff. So I decided that I wanted to go back to IT work for my son. I didn't want him growing up and seeing that part of me, and growing up having to deal with that part of me and my anger, and it takes rage takes over at some point. And so I've worked very, very hard over the last 10 years with therapy and different sessions to get that under control. I still have about one episode a month where I have night terrors and I won't sleep very well. But um, my my anger has gotten a lot better. So it's kind of like that thing is you never know the evil and the beast that others have conquered or have silenced. So don't poke them with a stick, kind of thing. That kind of incorporates the journey that I have been on in the last 10 years. So
Well, tell me about most of the inmates, and then tell me about the ones that scared you. Because dealing as when I did criminal defense for um, I don't know 17 years or something, 15, 17 years. But there's one guy that really sticks out in my mind. Flat effect. He looked like he never blinked, and you knew that he would kill you, and it would be like me stepping on a bug. And so, when I think of, most of the guys that I came across were just drug addicts or they flunked out of school. They don't know anything else but stealing, and I mean, most of these guys are just idiots
Right.
and harmless. But every once in a while, you come across a guy that scares the shit out of you, and just by looking at him, and tell me about because you're dealing with the worst of the worst in that prison. Tell me what your thoughts are on that.
So I met from people from every walks. I mean, not everybody there was a hardened criminal. I mean, we had criminals there, but my biggest thing is I always treated them like human beings, like that just made a
Mm-hmm.
mistake. Because I had been there, I made mistakes in my life that if I would ever got caught, hell, I might have ended up there. I don't know. I just got lucky. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and one story that I
But for the
will
grace of God.
Well, the only person that really scared me ever was when I met the Boston Mafia hitman that was there on federal charges holding for the marshals. He walked in with 46 case file boxes in his property, and I mean there was pictures from all kinds of people that he had killed, like stuffed them in metal barrels with acid, all the way down to, shooting people in the head. But having to go through those case files and look at those pictures, and then he was the actual one that shanked my buddy that ended up killing himself.
Oh, really? He's the
So
one that did it.
yeah, yeah. So
Do they have
it
the death penalty in Kentucky?
they do.
Did any of the people there get death like that mafia guy for the mob,
Um,
that hitman for the
he
mob?
most of the people where we were like a max holding for other big prisons and stuff, and then we ran a regular jail out of there too. So most of the people that actually went up to death row went to another facility to go do that. So I never witnessed that part. But what I will say is one of the people that I would talk to frequently was his name's Andrew Hager, and he was on drugs, different things, stealing, and I mean, you look at him, you wouldn't think he was anything, but I tell you, now he is a full-born Christian and does active drug recovery for people all over this section of the country. He's on TikTok a lot, so if you ever see Andrew Hager live on there talking, that's him. Uh, he has quite a big following now. But I'm so proud of him and some of the other ones that
Made
actually
it out.
went through, made it out, and came out the other side and did something. The
Positive in their life.
the thing that bothers me most about the system is like you take the homeless, and I never really had a heart for the homeless until I became a correction officer. They're set up to fail. Like in the winter, especially here in Lexington, they get rounded up, they get put in jail for whatever charge, like um, being on the premises with criminal trespassing or whatever it is, whatever will get them time in there off the streets, which is good. They're getting fed or whatever. But now they have a criminal history, sorry, and they can't get a job. So that cycle it rolls over. So every year now they get put back in jail every winter if they get caught on the street during the winter. And so now they got a route sheet. So the only thing they can do now is to beg or go steal stuff to get through the summer months and whatever. And basically we put them there because we don't like seeing them. So it's not saying that all the people out there are legit when they're begging, but Um, I have met a lot of these guys in the jail. I mean, some of them were my hardest working trustees. Some of my
Yeah.
best cleaners. Some of the best people you ever meet in your life. And then you see them and what the world did to them when you let them go. It just breaks my heart.
Well, I mean, I'd say two things to that. Um, One is, I truly believe that the system in Texas anyway. I don't know about other states, but that I always thought that was one of our biggest um, problems or issues or things that need to be worked with because, like you said, it's a self perpetuating situation. But the mental illness, the the counties, if they're injured, the county pays for it, but only so much. At some point, so if they pick them up, they stick them in there, and then at some point they're going to declare them well enough to get back on the street and put them back out. And it keeps doing this and keeps doing this till finally they arrest them and for a crime, and then they start going into that self-perpetuating system in the jail. And it's I don't know the answer. I mean, I do mental illness for the job I do now. I represent the state in mental illness hearings in Dallas County, and that's probably about 70% of what I do. And it's just some of these stories are just heartbreaking. The mental illness and where they're at. But the other thing I wanted to say was that the when I first started doing criminal defense, it may be different now, but when I first started doing criminal defense in '99, I would, every time I got appointed to a case, I would take their information, how to get a hold of them if they got out of jail. Where they live, phone numbers, contacts information, and I'd always ask them their email. And it just shocked me that 90% or more of these damn people didn't have an email in this day and age. They didn't, I mean, these guys don't know anything but playing these games, these stealing, running con man schemes, selling drugs. I mean, they never learned how to function in society, as normally as we have, and it just really shocked me that as none of them had an email address, and I don't know why that shocked me so much, but it just seemed to me everything. It may be different now, but from 1999 to 2012, it was shocking how many. So I did it 13 years. How many people in the criminal justice system didn't have an email or didn't have the IT functionality at all? It's crazy. But the CERT team, you were on that, so you got all suited up and bum rushed the jails, huh? The
Yeah.
cells when somebody was in there. So you probably had poop thrown on you.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I've seen every bodily fluid thrown at somebody you can see. I mean, I was usually on the shield, which my job was to pin them up against the wall so we
Yeah.
could either put handcuffs or whatever. So my football background came in handy. But
In rugby, good background.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's something that I would never do again, but I'm glad I went through it,
Mm.
if that makes sense. So
Well, it's crazy, man. Anyway, let's get back to your. Well, I know what I was going to tell you. On the mental health side, I've been trying to get to a therapist to try to figure out if my binge eating is a binge eating disorder or some type of whether there's a mental aspect to it or not. And my insurance offers 5 EAP visits a year. And so I couldn't find anybody that took the EAP benefits. And so then I called the insurance and they referred me to a lady, a very nice lady. But I did 4 with her, and it was almost like she was implanting a trauma in me. She was telling me I had a trauma as a kid, and this is how we're going to treat it. And I just the first visit I was very happy I was there, and she explained something to me. The second visit, she made me watch a couple of videos talking about how much is in the subconscious, and that we're trying to fix what's in the subconscious. Then the third visit, she gave me some mantras that I'm supposed to say to myself as much as I breathe, like a self-affirmations. And then the fourth visit, she started with like a hypnosis and was asking me to, step out of my body and talk to the person that wants to not have an eating disorder and do that kind of thing. And it was, I never did click and feel like I liked her, so I quit after the fourth visit. And I don't feel like I've ever had been a real trauma. Bad things have happened in my life, but I've always kind of had a positive outlook and think I'm pretty damn lucky, and grew up in a good house. I never felt like there was any trauma that I needed therapy for, and so I quit. And then went to my doctor for my yearly physical, or 6 months physical, last week, and I had gained 60 pounds in 6 months. And so she upped I take one antidepressant, I take Prozac, the generic. She upped it to the max dose. And then she gave me a card to go to a cognitive therapist that does cognitive behavior therapy. She said that for eating disorders, cognitive behavioral therapy is the best, most successful treatment for those type of disorders. So I called. She referred me, and then they emailed me and told me they don't take my insurance. So I'm right back to, it's like when I wanted to lose weight. I had to go to cardiologist, make sure my heart was okay, and then I went to the damn orthopedic, and he said both your knees are bone on bone, and they need to be replaced. But I'm not going to replace them until you get under 300 pounds. And so then I said, well, how in the hell am I going to replace my knees? How am I going to get under 300 pounds if I can't use my knees to work out, And so my journey to DDPY is similar to yours, because I started by saying yes to everything. I went to, started doing aqua aerobics, started trying to walk, and I turned from the aqua aerobics to swimming, and eventually DDP reached out to me because I was putting everything online, and he said, you need to try my stuff. And that's when I got into the DDPY, and everything else took off because of the exercise you do on the mat, and then it's not hard on your joints. You can modify whatever you need to
Right.
help your wherever you are at physically. And so, but there was a point in there that I had given up, and I said, I'm just always going to be this weight. And I'm kind of to that point now on the mental, but I'm giving up trying because I went to the person the insurance went to, we didn't click, and person my doctor wants me to go to doesn't take insurance, and it's almost like I don't know. I don't know if I need help, and I don't know mental therapy, and I don't know how to get it to find out if I do need it.
Do you have a Flex account?
No, I never have. I didn't set up one of those.
Yeah, I mean, it can be hard to find the right fit. That especially when you're limited on insurance and stuff. Definitely look online. There's a lot of video in this day and age. A lot of it's went to video anyway, but a lot of the insurances will take or recommend a lot of them that are online that are still licensed and everything. That's what I do. I
Mm-hmm.
take the video ones because I kind of had a same with finding the right people that you know. But I found one online, and and I kind of got lucky that one of the guys that I met while I was working one of my past jobs is a therapist, and he has helped me a lot and has dabbled in this. So he helps me from the time to time when I can't get into the other people if I'm having a really bad flare or that kind of thing. So I would challenge you not to give up. Do some online searching, see if you can find some video people that you can do video chat with. Sometimes you're more relaxed when you can do video because you're not feeling like you got that bright light uh, zeroed in on you. Um,
Well, I can tell you, I would love to do video more than anything, but I got to schedule a time when no one else is here so I can talk freely, about everything else in my life.
yep.
I don't want to say anything that's going to hurt these people around me. I'm going to have to take a restroom break, brother. Can you mind if I go
Okay.
to the restroom?
No go.
Oh man, thank you. Whoo,
No problem.
shit. When you get old, it's a damn. That bladder doesn't work like it used to work.
I hear you.
So you're 152 pounds down. You're fasting 2 hours, 2 48 hours a day. You're doing DDP Yoga, doing a podcast, flying around, taking care of the IT of different plants, raising a boy. You
Yeah, I
got
have a
more kids
daughter.
than one?
Yeah, I have a
Got
daughter.
two kids? How old are your kids?
Um, my son will be 8 on the 18th of April, and my daughter is getting ready to turn 16 in May.
Ooh, shit. You spread them out.
Yeah,
Has your daughter, well, at 16, she still thinks you're the dumbest son bitch on the planet, I think.
yeah, yeah. And she lives with my ex-wife, so that even makes it worse. But
The ex-wife reinforces that opinion.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, she'll grow out of that, I promise you. I'll tell you a funny story that I like to tell my daughter. Embarrasses the shit out of her, so I tell it all the time. Um, she was 12 or 13, sixth grade, whatever that was, summer of sixth grade. I don't remember summer before or after, but Mary was horsing. She was dragging a trailer with my oldest daughter all over the state, and I was at home taking care of my boy and Emma. Emma was a 12, 13-year-old, and my boy was 2 or 3 years younger, 3 years younger. And the boy and I were home, Don, and Emma was at the afternoon matinee movie. She had me take her up there. And so she's texting me wanted to go to somebody's house after the movie. And I didn't want to what else. I kept texting back, no, come home. But this girl is definitely strong-willed. I think she gets it from her mother, but she doesn't quit. She goes and it goes on. I know. And finally, I just said, no, come home. And then a few seconds pass, and then I get this text, and it says, the douchebag said no. And, and so I looked at that and I read it, and I got to tell you, it was kind of a proud parent moment. I felt like what I'd done as a parent had really been successful, because my 12-year-old daughter knew how to correctly spell douchebag. And so, I mean, that's, I took that as a damn a parental win, but evidently she texted it to the wrong person. And for years, she claims it was somebody there with her that did it, not her. And she's finally fessed up to it only in the last few years. But every time I tell that story, she gets red and she gets mad at me. But she hates for me to tell that story. And I'm never going to get tired of wearing that damn story out. When your daughter calls you a douchebag, so I'm going to get. That story's going to cost her years of embarrassment.
Yeah, and we have another thing in common then, because my daughter's name is Emma.
Oh, and she is.
Yeah.
Emma, what's her middle name?
Grace.
Emma Grace. I always liked
Grace.
Emma Grace. That's a beautiful. I used to have an Emily. Well, Emily Grace, I think, worked for me, but I always liked Emma Grace. Well, we're Emma Elizabeth. So
yeah, and
it's a cool name.
My Emma's she's 6'4", so she got her daddy's height. So
she's a tall one.
Yeah.
Does she?
She's
women, rightfully or wrongfully, always seem to be attracted to taller people. Does she have a hard time finding boyfriends taller than her?
Well, yeah. It's she hasn't really done the whole. I mean, she likes boys, but she hasn't really done like any like mainstream boyfriend or anything yet, which is fine by me at this point. But
that shit's coming.
That'll change.
16's about the day it hit. Yeah, 16's about. As soon as they start driving, that shit kind of all changes. They wear you out till 16. When 16 hits, them some bitches ain't never there. You got to catch them in passing, But it's kind of different now. Some of those kids these days don't even care to drive. They've been living in this world that we live in now, and Uber and, and everything's here to touch. And some of them don't even care to get a driver's license. But, man, that was the biggest day of my life was to get a driver's license.
Absolutely. And she's getting ready to take her permit, so she's definitely ready to drive. So.
Well, I promise you, once she gets that, you'll never see her again. You'll be begging her to come home for dinner, man. But and your boy's 8, so you. Now I guess that is this a product of a new wife?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. She's my current wife, Lindsay, and so he is definitely my mini me. He's a character and he's got a good heart, so he's a really good kid.
Them some bitches, each one comes out different. I mean, they got their own personality, their own mind. It's amazing how different each one is. But I can tell you, one of my regrets. I always like to. I sound like you and I like kind of like the same things. When I used to drink a lot, and drinking always turned into wrestling. I don't know why, but it just did. I mean, if you get drunk, then you want to wrestle somebody, and and so, but I never did do it. We didn't have wrestling in school, and I never did do it. But when I was in my 30s, I did judo for a couple of years, and then I did some jujitsu off and on. Just for, I had to get fun and get hurt and get But he so when he came along, he was my chance to live my childhood. And so I drug him to judo, I drug him to wrestling, and he hated it. And I regret making him do those things. I should have let him be the boy he wanted to be, but he was he wrestled in this league in Dallas. It was a club here in town, but his heart wasn't in it. But coach was a hard ass here. But there was a Hispanic a gentleman, a young kid, name was Angel. I can't remember, big old barrel chested kid. There was only a couple, 2 or 3, 4 kids in his weight class. He's big, and but Angel would whoop his ass every match. I mean, just pin him immediately, and he hated Angel. And we got down to the finals one year, the area, Dallas area, the deal before you go to the state. I think I can't remember what it's called, but he was a little bit of shit. And so I found a picture of Angel, and I cut it out, and I taped it to his mirror in his bathroom, and I taped it on the glove box of my truck, and that bitch was madder than hell. And he, when we rode up there that day, he wasn't even sitting in the front seat; he sat in the back seat. He was so mad. And then Angel whooped his ass immediately. He pinned Angel one time out of all the matches. I mean, every weekend he had to go get his ass whooped by this kid, but he pinned him one time. Boy, and he was happy that day he pinned him. So, yeah. But I regret making him do the things that I wanted to do. You kind of try to make them. You want them to do the things you think you wanted to do instead of letting them do the things they want to do, because they're completely different than all of us. But I don't know. Is your boy gonna be big?
Yeah, he's already a pretty good sized kid. So he's already tall for his age. So the only thing I worry about is I want to break that eating cycle with him early, so he doesn't struggle like I did. So coupling that with his taste in foods and stuff has been a challenge especially with the pandemic. So he likes to swim, so we've been having swimming. He thought about doing martial arts, so he's starting that Tuesday. So we're trying to find
what kind of martial arts.
He's gonna. I did AKA or ATA Taekwondo for quite a few years, so he's gonna do like Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and Hapkido, and it's kind of like a mixed flavor, so to speak. So we'll see if he likes it and maybe adjust if needed. But I think once he gets out there and he loves to wrestle. We have a thing every night where we have wrestle time where we go in his bed about 15 minutes before mom comes in, and we just go to town and wrestle all over the place. And so that's our time, to talk or whatever and clown around. So it's a lot of fun.
That's good. That's good years, till they hit about 13. Then they figure out you're the dumbest son of a bitch on the planet. But it's a lot of fun, man. But yeah, that's fun. That jiu-jitsu, that's the way to go. The UFC if nothing else, has proven that there's certain martial arts that are definitely overall better than other martial arts. The jiu-jitsu dominates the ground, the submissions on the ground. The wrestling owns the positioning. If they want you standing up, you're going to be standing up. If they want you on your back, you're going to be on your back. The wrestler owns between your shoulders and your knees. Just the way it is, you're going down. And then striking, Muay Thai seems to be the the overall best striking martial art. More Muay Thai people do well in UFC than anybody else. I mean, but now everybody's getting well rounded. But there's always people that come along that are good, and there's always the exception. Machito was the karate, and was it Machida? I can't remember. The Dragon and Wonder Boy, Stephen Wonder Boy. He likes to do the distance kicking, and I mean, there's always exceptions. Well, hell, old I can't remember that guy who wore the mohawk. Are you a UFC person?
I watch, but I'm not religious on it.
Yeah. Chuck Liddell. See, he was a Kempo karate, and so I mean, so there's, but if you mix some of the striking with some wrestling and some jiu-jitsu, there's something you'll have something to do wherever it happens to be. So, but I enjoy that kind of stuff. I hope your son likes the martial arts, and I
did
hope
too.
he sticks with it.
I think he will. I think he'll like learning the correct way to punch, and I've taught him some stuff, but I'm not an expert by any means, so it'll be nice to see.
There's a lady from Kentucky, I think, who's in DDPY, who fights MMA, who's jiu-jitsu. Because when we went to the summit 3 years ago, there was a lady there and her husband or boyfriend, I don't know what he was, but she was a bona fide MMA fighter. And shit, let me see if I can think of her name. But you said, okay, you texted me, said you got 10 minutes, 7 minutes ago, so you need to go pretty quick.
Yeah,
I meant to ask you how much time you got left.
Yeah, I got my wife's type 1 diabetic, so I need to cook dinner about 5 for her. So
okay, all right, man. Well, we'll get you out. We'll get you out quick. I'm sorry it took so long, and sorry I had some technical problems.
You're fine.
But and so I want to get you out. I don't want you to miss anything. But I'll see if I can come up with that lady's name. I think she's in Kentucky. She may be in Tennessee, but she was a badass, and she's a DDPY person. I'll try to find her. It'd be great if she's near you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you'd have that DDPY connection, and
I've actually thought about getting back into doing martial arts at some point. Definitely once my foot starts healing up a little bit more, I want to start, doing it, because I loved it when I got to just right before my black belt, before I got divorced, and then I just quit just because I couldn't afford it anymore. With all the testing fees and stuff, it got pretty expensive. So,
did you ever compete? Do the Taekwondo competing?
No, I just never had the opportunity to. I had one time where I could have went, but just scheduling I was going through school and everything else at that point, and just didn't work out. But
I think Taekwondo is what Joe Rogan's base was, and then he went over into Taekwondo, jiu-jitsu and stuff. But I think he was a world champion Taekwondo. But anyway, let me ask you some general questions before we got to get you out of here.
Okay.
There's a couple of general questions I ask everybody at the end. One of them is, what's your advice to someone who's just starting out trying to lose weight?
Keep moving forward. Give yourself 3 months. Do it for you. A lot of people do it for your kids or whatever, and that's a good reason. But you have to do it for you. You have to want to know it, and you have to know why you're doing it. So if you get those three, try to move every day, make small changes in your diet, and seek help where you can. Making those small changes, you'll be successful.
The other question I ask everybody is, because social media has played such a big part of my journey, got me to where it is. How, what's your opinion, and how did social media affect your journey?
It kept me accountable. I post every day in the DDPY and the Positively Unstoppable, plus Instagram, Twitter, and I would do like TikTok videos of me doing the workouts. Um, so I would say for accountability, it was great. For all the haters and all the negativity that came with it, um, definitely takes some focus and determination to prove them wrong. So if you're doing it to stay accountable, I say that, but be warned that there's always those people that are going to try to knock you down. And so just look at it that you're posting for not for the likes or all that stuff. Just do it for you to stay accountable to yourself. Um, and it's a good way to look back over time and see where you were and how far you've come. So that part's been great, but just be warned that there are going to be times where you're going to have people say and do stuff on there that's going to be a negative light. That's just part of it.
I mean, I really think those damn trolls, that to them it's a sport.
Hmm.
That that most of them aren't mean-hearted. They just want to say something so inflammatory that it goes viral. And so their whole game is to just keep saying inflammatory stuff until something blows up, that they finally find some tread.
Right.
And, several of them, if you respond positively, they say, oh man, just kidding, or, whatever. But every once in a while, you get to one that just keeps keeps doing it, and finally, I just block them. I say,
Right.
hell, I don't want to listen. I don't want to listen to that sucker
I
bitch
didn't
anymore.
have too much problems last year, but here recently, since I've gotten really close to my goal, it just like they've come out of the woodwork. Like they don't believe that I'm the same person, or I'm like, go back and look at my YouTube. I give my YouTube channel. I give
Yeah,
them my tick. You're on TikTok. Go back and look. I kept video in the whole time, so I was like, you look, it's me, same voice, and so a lot of them will shut up. But it's just I've had some in the even I think they meant well, but I've had some in the DDPY that if I took a day off, um, they're like, what the hell, you're taking a break, or whatever. Um, I had one just here recent this year. Um, I started going really hard and my foot was really sore, so I took a day to kind of just do stretching. And they actually called me out on it, and I was like, "Really, dude?" I was like, "You just started like a month ago. I've been
yeah,
doing this for like 12, 14 months." And I
yeah.
was like, I see where they're coming from, but it's just like, uh, I appreciate your you looking out and trying to help, but you know, that's not the way to do
Well,
it. So
man, I agree with you. You gotta have some thick skin. If you're gonna do it, you gotta have some thick skin. There's gonna be somebody out there that's gonna say something that hurts your feelings. But I just kind of look at it like most of it. I try to ignore, try to drop it, and let it go. But you can't do that all the time.
yeah,
Some
yeah,
some things really hurt. So, but I, to me, having that accountability and putting it out there, I get so much good back from it.
Hmm.
The good I get back over well is worth all of the negativity that I get. I mean, the back, if I put them on a scale, what I got back on the positive side way outweighs what the negative things I've had to suffer over these 4 years.
Well, I always tell Justin this, and I'll tell you, if it wasn't for your story, I wouldn't be here. So I mean,
It's
if
crazy.
you didn't take the time to document all that stuff, I wouldn't be here in the first place. So I always thanked him, but I never got a chance to thank you
Man,
for doing it. I mean, I know it's hard. I know the dedication, and it's hard to see the negative side, on the scales and stuff, and having to put that out there. But it's because you did it, and Justin did it, uh, and the way you documented it, it made it easier for me to keep going. So thank you
um,
for doing that.
thank you, man. Thank you for doing it, and thank you for spreading it on. Keep it going forward. Uh, I mean, it's just it's amazing what's come to me from me just putting just posting the shit I go through on this damn story. Putting it out there,
Yep.
good or bad. As long as I
Right.
put it out there, there's eventually going to be something good come from it. And I've met so many wonderful people like you. I get to, maybe like you said, have some type of contribute to their journey, and it's just amazing, man. I can't tell. If I had just done this and just like I'd done every other time before, I would have started. I'd have gone probably 6 weeks. I'd have had a little setback or an injury, and I'd have quit. And I'd go back to my own ways. I mean, it's just 6 weeks would have been a long. I can't tell you. I've had how many 5 day starts I've had or
Yep.
4 day starts I've had. But putting it out there and getting
Keeps
in
you
touch with
accountable.
people that,
Yep.
oh man, and people check on you, and people, and people inspire you like you
Yep.
inspire me by sticking with it. And so I just, it affects my journey so much. I always ask people that question, how it affected them. And, I mean, it's, you never know you never know what you're posting is helping somebody. And even if one speaks up, there may be 10 others that don't
Don't.
speak up that you're helping.
Yep.
And so it's a beautiful thing, man.
Yes, it is.
The other thing I would say, I know you need to go, is that do not, and let me repeat, let me point my finger at you. I got to point it at the camera, whatever I got to do. Do not. I learned. Twitter taught me this lesson. It's a lesson that I have learned, ingrained in my soul. Do not post TikTok videos on Twitter. Do not make a Twitter video and then post it. You know how it saves the video? Do not post it on Twitter. Twitter, I had 80, I don't know, it was like 8,700 followers, 8,600 followers on Twitter when Dallas and Bert was resharing my Twitter stuff early on. I had a bunch. And that's where most of the trolls came from. But TikTok warned me a couple of times, do not post music, uncopyrighted music. And so what I started doing, I thought I had tricked them. I started just posting cover bands of Grateful Dead songs. I figured, hell, nobody's got a copyright on a cover band of a Grateful Dead song. So that's what I kept posting, and I'm over and over again. And then one day, Twitter just killed Law Dog 15. I mean, just killed it. Boom, it was gone. I couldn't appeal it. I appealed it, and they said nope. And it was they just dead. They just took it off. And it was about the time they took Trump off, when all that was going on. They killed Trump and a bunch of others, and they killed me. And I never could get back on. And so now I'm starting my Twitter, Vance_Hines back up. I'm only about 700 to 800 people, because it really takes the more, people with a lot of followers to retweet you to really get your followers up. And, but I mean, it killed me on Twitter. They've got so much control over your account. You don't know it until they kill you. So let me tell you, let me point at your finger and do not, I repeat, do not post TikTok videos on Twitter. They seem to get offended about that. So with music, I said maybe if you don't have any music, but if you use TikTok music and then post it on Twitter, they're going to kill your ass. So, yeah. But I think that's about it, man. Awesome. Any other words of wisdom you want to say before you get out of here?
No, I just keep doing, keep moving, get your help. You can find me on most of the social medias on the Reawakening, and I chose that because I was the phoenix coming out of the ashes, so to speak. So, if you're looking for me on YouTube, I've documented every week since I started. It's the Reawakening. And I'm on Twitter. Yep. And Twitter and everything's pretty much the same. And then I'm Matt Schmitt, SCHMITT on Facebook. And if I can help you, reach out. If you need anything, just hit me up.
Thank you for listening to the podcast today. I'm your host, Vance Hines of Transform with Vance, where transformations begin every day. Please take a moment, if you will, if you like the podcast, to subscribe and follow, and you can find us on social media as well, either under Vance Hines or Transform with Vance. Please tune in and subscribe to our feed. You'll be able to hear lots of transformation stories. I'm in search of interviewing as many transformations as I can find. So if you have a transformation that you would like to have someone interview and have and appear on the podcast, just send me the name and number, message me, and I'll reach out to them and try to get them here. But no matter what, a better life begins on the mat. Get on the mat and start your transformation today. Thank you.